mega, oh, all right.
Jig, maker of the gripper. Work safer, work smarter.
Ooh, this week's video is also sponsored by Harry's. I'm sure I've got every grit of random orbit sandpaper there is, but I can never find the one I need. The problem is that whenever I am done using a certain grit of sandpaper and it's still good, I peel it off and I toss it in the drawer. Then the next time I need to use that grit of sandpaper, it's buried, I can't find it. So I open up a new package and get a brand new one. The solution I've come up with is this sanding station that holds my random orbit sander, and it's got trays that hold 5 different grits of sandpaper. So whenever I'm done sanding with a certain grit and there's still life left in it, I'll remove it and place it into the tray that has the same grit. At least that's the plan. This is a scrap wood project, so I found this piece of 3/4 inch or 19mm plywood that I'll use for the 2 sides and the top and bottom. I'm gonna start by cutting one oversized piece of wood that is eventually gonna be the 2 sides. I can cut the height of the box to its exact length. Every time I use my Dado blades to cut grooves in a project, I get people asking me about them, and I know Dado blades aren't available in at least parts of Europe, but in North America, they're really handy to have. This is a really inexpensive set of blades that I've had for over 10 years now. I still keep it in its original box. A Dado stack is just a bunch of blades that, well, you stack together. 2 of the blades are the ones that you always use. They have the logo on it and they have a lot more teeth than the other blades. In between those blades, you put these little chipper blades that just have, what, 5 teeth on each one. These come in different thicknesses. These have little carbide tipped teeth that have broken off on a lot of these chippers, but they seem to still work okay. So to cut a groove, you would just stack in whichever ones of these you need to get the width you need on the groove, and this one would go like that. My set also comes with these little brass shims of various thicknesses that you can put in between the individual blades to fine tune it even more. I never use those. That said, I always like to point out to everybody, especially my overseas friends, that I don't think a Dado stack is an essential woodworking tool. It's nice to have, but you can accomplish the same tasks and make grooves using multiple passes with just a regular blade on your table saw, or you can use a router. I've installed the Dado blades into my table saw, and I've run a few tests to get the right combination. This is the material I'm going to use for the shelves, and it's always just a matter of trial and error. This was my first test and it was just too loose, and so by playing around with combinations of the blades, I got to this one that has a pretty nice fit. To make the ledges that'll hold the top and the bottom of the box, I need to make multiple passes, sliding my fence over a little bit each time. I cut all of my grooves at half the thickness of the wood. The layers in the plywood make it easy to determine the center. Test it along the way using another piece of plywood. Here you can see I need to go a little bit deeper. That gives me a pretty good fit. If this side is a little bit longer, that's fine because I can sand it flush. And of course I only need to make 1 pass for each of the grooves for the shelves. I'll space all 4 of them equally apart. The top is going to have a larger notch than the bottom so that it'll have a rim around the top to hold the sander in place. With my regular blade back in place, I can cut this into 2 pieces. By cutting those grooves first, I can be sure that the shelves are going to line up. I'll glue and tack the top and bottom into place. The glue is doing all of the work here. The tacks are just holding it together long enough for the glue to dry, and it allows me to move on to the next step of the project without having to clamp it all together and wait. I'm using 1/4 inch or 6mm plywood for the back and the shelves. I think it's gonna be easier to pull the sandpaper out if there's a little arc on these shelves. I can draw that arc perfectly with this weapon that Peter Brown made for me. I'll stick these all together with carpet tape so I can cut them all at the same time. I don't think shop projects require any kind of finish on them. I just really like bright colors. Hey everybody, guess what? This is the 1-year anniversary of Harry's Razors sponsoring Woodworking for Mere Mortals. It's really been fun to see the growth of their company over the past year, and it's all due to customers like you. I thought it would be fun to revisit this razor stand I made last year and show you how it's holding up. You may remember I made this out of zebra wood using bent lamination, and my razor fits in just like that. I shave every day, so this thing is constantly wet, and it's always sitting on a wet countertop. I protected the wood with lacquer, but it looks like some of it's chipping away, although a lot of this looks like it might just be lime deposits. Either way, this will take just a few moments to freshen up with some light sanding. The nice thing about using lacquer is you don't have to sand it down to bare wood before you apply more coats. And while that's drying, let me remind you how cool the Harry's service is. You get high quality razors delivered right to your front door at a fraction of the price that you'd pay at the pharmacy or supermarket. They have different shaving plans depending on how often you shave. If you shave every day, I recommend getting on the plan that ships out 8 razors every 2 months. That works out to less than $2 a blade. And if you live in the United States, you get free shipping. And as always, Harry's wants to offer viewers of Woodworking for Mere Mortals $5 off your first order. To take advantage of the deal, go to harrys.com and enter the coupon code Woodworking at checkout. All right, let's see how the refinished razor stand turned out. That was such an easy restoration, and it really looks as good as new. Well, I hope this works out for me. Really, at this point, the organization falls on my shoulders. I've got to try to keep up with this sandpaper, but I think I can now that I have a dedicated spot for each grit. If you'd like to make one yourself, check down below. I've got a free set of plans. Oh, and because I know you're gonna ask, yes, we have brand new t-shirts at the Wood Shop. They're all designed by Wyatt, including this one. Check out all of the designs he's come up with. He's got some really cool ones there I think you're gonna like. All proceeds go to Wyatt's college fund. Thanks everybody, I hope you're having a great summer, and I will see you next week.